your feet, get into gear and hit the street. Hey, you get moving, it's not too far, you're looking good, strong as you are. Hey, you never know what you see when you're through that door with the 7-3. Never seen nothing, no, not like this place, never been, no, no way, not ever, no, never seen no place, no way similar, not like 73. Hey, you get ready, get on your feet, get into gear and hit the street. It's you that we want to see, so get down to 73. Get down to 73. Hey, you get down to 73.
What are you two doing?
Oh, well, we're waiting for something.
Yeah.
Well, monsters.
Monsters? Monsters? Trouble with a bike?
No, not really. It's just a few minor adjustments. It'll be all right. Tony Harmsworth, how are you?
Nice
Down
to see
from
you,
Loch
David.
Ness.
That's
What have you
right.
brought?
Well, it's the new board game, Nessie Hunt.
Oh, come in. I love to play games like that.
Something to do with Andrew? I thought it might be. Right. Finally got it. I suppose you'd like a go now, wouldn't you? Yeah!
Well, look, you can't have a go for us.
I bet Speedy Gonzales would make a better goalie.
Come here, us. Okay, attention, please. Attention, everyone, attention. Oh, I just love attention. Right. I now pronounce the pinball machine up here.
Well, Andrew has just moved in all his stuff and assumes he can stay here without even asking us.
He hasn't even asked.
Oh, that's a bit much, Harry.
I mean, what can we do?
Well, I don't know. What do you think?
I don't know. I think we ought to settle it democratically. We'll ask all the rest of the others.
That's what Kim and I said.
I don't see why it should be a problem.
But I'll tell you what. Let's just keep him hanging on, eh? Your move. Okay, Edsy stays, Towsy leaves. I think we'll just do it again. Edsy stays,
Harry,
Towsy
I think
leaves.
housemating is a much more reliable way of deciding. Let's go and ask him and ring Neil.
You mean we should forget this?
Yes.
Just as well, eh? I did know Neil from me town.
Now, what you owe me £200.
Come on, Vicky, come on.
Oh, well, thank goodness they've gone. You know, Johnny, this is a fascinating game. And you invented it.
Yes, that's right. Using all the photographs and sonar charts that have been collected over the decades.
Really?
And in fact, it's sponsoring research at Loch Ness. The new expeditions, the expeditions on Loch Ness for the coming years, will be getting royalties from the game.
Really? And you know, when I'm playing it, I feel as if I'm on the loch, because you've got all the places around the loch shore here, and I know them so well. Here's Urquhart Castle. I've actually been there looking for the monster, and of course, it's off this point here that many of the sightings of monsters
I think
have been.
most of the sightings from Urquhart Castle, yes.
And I've stayed at that hotel there in Drumnadrochit, and it's down there, right at that tip, that St. Columba, all those years ago, saved one of his disciples from the monster, isn't it?
Amazing. 1400 years ago. That's a long time.
And you've just come down from the real loch, and what have you been doing up there?
Well, there's been a big expedition. They used a line of 10 boats, which moved right the way up Loch Ness, and each of the boats had a sonar on them, and they were beaming downwards, hoping to pick up something.
Right away across the loch.
Right the way across the loch, but unfortunately the weather was so bad the sonar was swinging far too much to get good results, but the equipment worked. And that means that we're going to have the full expedition next year.
You're going back?
Oh yes.
How many boats?
Well, there's talk of as many as 45. Probably not that many, but certainly a huge expedition.
Stretched every inch really across
Right
the loch.
across the loch.
Marvellous. And you know, when you came down to 73 last time, we were talking, well, you know, was there a monster? Wasn't there? The possibilities. But let's assume that there is one. What do you think it looks like? Because you see, some of our friends have sent in pictures of what they think monsters might look like. Now, what's your opinion of their ideas?
Well, that looks like Mickey the Bassett, actually.
It doesn't it? But the colour could be right for a monster now. All right. Well, what do you think of that one?
Well, that's interesting. That's like most of the picture postcards. But do you know nobody has ever described hoops?
Oh, you mean you shouldn't be able to see through the...
Right.
Okay, well, if you don't like hoops, you like humps and bumps and lumps.
Well,
Like
that could be an illustration straight out of a book. Yes, people describe a grey animal with a hump.
So that's more like what people have
Well,
seen.
it would be.
Well, that's very good. And that's been paged by Danny Wall. Smashing. But you've got a blow-up of some of these cards that we've been using with pictures that are said to have come from the real monster underwater. Let's have a look at that.
Yes, this is the famous flipper picture, which was taken in 1972 by the Academy of Applied Science. And it's supposed to show a flipper, perhaps, of an animal, something like a plesiosaur.
So what you're saying is that that's a flipper, and that that is the same as that.
That's what's being suggested, yes.
But that animal is an extinct dinosaur.
Well, so was the coelacanth, of course, but that turned up off the waters of Madagascar.
Well,
will say this neck that the plesiosaur once had is a bit like the sort of thing that many people claim to have seen. And you've got another photograph there of that, haven't you?
That's right, the famous surgeon's photograph. I think this is why some people think it may be a plesiosaur, because you get long necks and you get humps.
You think that's that? Well, I've got a simpler explanation. I've got some photographs too. Now look at this. That's a good old otter popping out of the water, as they often do, to have a look round. Now I could say that that head like that is the same as that.
But the resemblance is only superficial. The head is in fact far thicker than the object here.
All right then, let's look at the other end of an otter. You see, look at this photograph. Now this is when he's diving, bottom up in the air, tail up, just before he goes through the water. I could say that that is the same as that.
Yes, but again, you have a problem because the tail is far too thin to represent the head on this object.
Oh well, you're going back next year. Promise me one thing. Try to bring back a really clear, certain photograph, or better still, if you'll bring back the live animal, I'll make sure we'll pop it in the yard and the family will love to see it.
Well, we do our best.
Thanks very much.